Good morning, and welcome to Check Down Champs. It is David and Mitch, Hulk, Bets, and DFS and Donuts, bringing you some NFL action. A little Saturday morning pick me up, right? I mean, listen, we're 3 weeks away. We're tired of MLB. We got a little UFC action tonight. We're going to be talking about sports betting for NFL today. Week 1, futures, that's going to be a part of it. But we're going hardcore into NFL best ball today on Underdog Fantasy as well on the Boomer Bust episode. I was talking to Hulk Bets before the show, and my gosh, he's going to blow your mind today with some of the players he has on his bust list. So let's tune in. Let's focus up. If you are watching right now on my channel or Twitter, thank you very much. Make sure you're also watching on at the Hulk Bets on YouTube and Twitter, as well as he has his stream up and running. So we are all over the interwebs today. David, say good morning to the good people.
Good morning, good people.
Graphic 13 says good morning, and of course the Hulk Bets. There he is.
What a guy! Oh, look at that guy.
Yeah, he's a handsome other brother over there.
Boom or bust, man. I am stoked, man. It's week 3 of the NFL preseason today, technically, because opening week was the Hall of Fame game, I guess. I think this is going to be an interesting slate today because I don't think a lot of guys actually play. So I'm sure some of the D-gens will want some action on it, but I got to be honest and say I probably won't be betting too much on today's slate just for that reason alone. Should I get into real quick? I have some injury news from camp. We talked about it a little bit.
Oh yeah, bro.
Let's run through it real quick. All right. Mark Andrews, start off right at the top of the list. We're going to go in alphabetical order for the team. Mark Andrews, he'll be fine. He was in a car accident, though. Very bizarre. In a car accident, totally fine. Not going to play in preseason, probably wasn't going to anyways, at least not in week 2 or 3, technically this week of preseason today, so he's fine. Deontay Johnson, growing strain, questionable, but it is mild. Jamar Chase, questionable, unidentified situation. It's a contract thing right now for Jamar Chase. He'll be fine. Hopefully. They'll have to sign him. Him and CD are going to get signed, I think. Ayuk's going to get his deal probably first, so we'll see what happens there. Chubb, no surprise. He's on the PUP list. Sam Laporta. The Detroit Lions are kind of hurting. Sam Laporta and Jahmyr Gibbs, both questionable with hamstring injuries. I wouldn't worry about them for today, but obviously we're talking week 1. Hamstrings are fickle, man. The hamstrings, high ankle sprains, they tend to linger. So just keep an eye out because those are 2 big name players. Tucker Kraft from Green Bay, the tight end, expects to be ready for week 1. I kind of hope he's not because Luke Musgrave is a guy I'm targeting quite a bit. Nobody really of note for the Texans or Colts. Edwards-Helaire, not really of note for the Chiefs, but Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown, is out. He's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. He probably will miss the first week or 2 of the NFL season. Puka, knee injury, likely he plays week 1, though. Should be fine. Matt Stafford, hamstring injury. Ugh. Unknown severity. Doesn't run a lot, but still not great. Waddle, return to practice, undisclosed, probably not a concern. Same thing with Odell Beckham. A guy I love, Hunter Henry. Some injury sustained last week, undisclosed, should be fine though. Malik Neighbors, ankle injury, week 1, should be fine and ready for week 1. However, keep an eye on it. Mike Williams from the New York Jets, injured his knee. Not a guy I was targeting anyway, but he's an old man and a big body, so that could be a little bit of a concern. And
talking about me again, huh?
Huh?
Talking about me again, huh?
Old man?
Big body, old man?
Big body, old man. Yeah, that's basically about right.
Running in the dead New Balances.
Woo. Exactly. Tearing your knees up.
Posterior chain just wrecked.
Rondell Moore and Chase Claypool and JJ McCarthy all out for the season. Rondell Moore of the Falcons, Chase Claypool of the Bills with a toe injury. Wow. Man needs to toughen up a little bit.
Must be
and JJ McCarthy tore his knee.
That's website, checkdownchamps.com. I posted this link in chat for you all, whether you are on Twitter or Twitch or wherever you're seeing this. I don't entirely know if you get links over there, but I did post it in YouTube chat. You guys can snag that link right there. When it pops up, you're going to see this. Subscribe to our newsletter. Beautiful, beautiful gold shading here. Love it. Love it. If you do sign up to this is where David and I will be giving all of our fantasy football takes, rankings, updates. This is where we'll be sending you some goodies. That's right. If you sign up for the free newsletter, of course, we're going to be finding a way to provide you value beyond just fantasy, best ball, and betting stuff. David and I have already talked about doing like special giveaways for our newsletter. Currently in this phase, pepper you with any type of emails or spam. We are just gathering the newsletter base, and we will be doing this in the near term and in the next month or two. And then we're going to start hitting you with some goodies. That could be probably an initial splash, like a special signed autographed mini helmet giveaway for our newsletters people only. So wink, wink. Make sure if you like CeeDee Lamb, Jamar Chase, who else do we have? Christian McCaffrey, Justin Jefferson. If you like those types of players, we may or may not wink, wink. We may or may not have a bunch of signed mini helmets waiting for our newsletter fam. So if
why was your tongue involved in the winking?
Wait a minute, you don't use your tongue when you're winking?
Like a goblin. God. Did anybody else see that? I can't wait for people to rewatch this later. He's like,
I wish I had that on full screen.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be good enough. I don't know what that was. I think I just pulled my neck doing that. I think I just pulled my trap muscle trying to recreate what you just did there.
Oh, that was an impressive display of athleticism by you. Yeah, no doubt about it. You could get signed with the Bills. All right, here we go.
All right.
Head over to the website when you're ready for it. I'm going to show it on the live screen again. Then we're going to get right into our picks. Boomer Bust, baby. It's time. Totally free. Everything's free here. This is not a pay for paywall, blah, 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 pay for content site. This is free for you. This is just something David and I are doing simply to have a place to put all of our goodies for our communities. And we're going to be doing this every day, every Saturday live. And guess what? David and I are huge sports betting aficionados, as we like to call ourselves. Not really, but we are definitely going to be talking a lot of sports betting. And today, we talked about it before the show. We got some home run picks for you today. So if you are from our betting communities, do not leave. And we're not going to tell you when they're coming. We're going to sprinkle them in there. Just a little sprinkle. Yeah, we're going to let you know. Oh, hey,
Salt Bay.
you want to do a home run pick? Let's do it. And we'll dive in. We'll do a home run pick or two throughout the show, because we're going to line your pockets in the betting space as well. We also had a player that we wanted to talk about for NFL futures betting today as well. So potentially we'll be getting into some more of those on DK Sportsbook live today. So that's your little rundown. Going to be heavy based on best ball and underdog, but there will be a large portion of this that will go to, the betting space, which we just live in. So there you go. Let's get to it.
Oh, man. All right. So I guess I'll say this here. This is going to be a hard one for me, but truly a boomer bust potential candidate is Anthony Richardson. And I'm going to say that. I know, right? But I mean, does it get more boomer bust than him? And I think the bust is his injury. I think if he stays healthy, now I don't want to paint him as an injury prone guy. He wasn't really injured in high school, wasn't really injured in college, but he came in and was banged up a couple of times during his first couple of stints in the NFL. Concussion, not really concerned about. I mean, it sucks. It's not good for him, but that doesn't mean you're injury prone. However, the shoulder thing is a concern. He looks great right now, but where he is being drafted, quarterback 5 right now on Underdog, he has the potential to be boomer bust. I mean, he's drafted ahead of CJ Stroud and right behind guys like Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, obviously Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts. He's in the top tier of quarterbacks being drafted, and he's played 3.5 games in the NFL. Has that ever happened? That's insane. I don't know, other than maybe another Colt, Andrew Luck. I mean, who has come into the NFL and been drafted in that few of starts? He has thrown that few of passes, that few of plays, and been drafted that high.
Yeah, man. The camp videos coming out of Indy right now are just fantasy scenarios. I mean, you just continue to see dime after dime, 40 yards down the field. He just looks like a behemoth. He moves so quickly in that pocket. I mean, I get it. This isn't like a shocker to me, right? I feel like everyone has also kind of likened him to Josh Allen, and everybody who knows who, Richardson is and his skill set, they know he's faster, probably can
bigger,
run better.
Stronger,
well,
He is those three things. Not better.
No, don't even.
Not better.
Until we see it on the
stronger,
field.
faster.
Until we see it on the field and it translates, I don't care about his combine and all his stuff that he's done not on the field. So yes, he still has to do it on the field for me.
Fair.
For me personally.
Of course. No, I got you.
Yeah, listen, you can't just walk into this
I didn't say
collaborative stream of mine and be like,
I didn't say he's better
than Josh Allen.
I didn't say that.
Buffalo Bills fans.
There's going to be a lot of rewinding in this video because I did not say he's better. I said he's bigger, stronger, and faster. He is those things. He's bigger, stronger, and faster than Derrick Henry. That's objectively
okay. Another New Balance dad runner who has like 3,000 carries under his belt.
No, like I'm talking peak Derrick Henry. He's faster than everything he's ever done.
Derrick Henry.
He's bigger, stronger, and faster. Metrics. These are just numbers.
Okay. We can talk about bigger. Yeah. Okay. Well, he's like 6'5",
bigger, stronger,
250.
faster.
Like,
bigger, stronger, faster. Literally,
we'll see about the speed.
He's faster. He ran the 40 in a way faster time.
A 40 time does not translate to field time.
Shuttle 40 time, cone drill, all the above.
We'll see.
But he's got to do it in the NFL. So he is like the epitome.
I love that you came in here like he could potentially be a big bust this season.
I mean, he's
better than Josh Allen.
I didn't say that either, but he could be. I have him ranked higher than Josh Allen for this year. So
yeah, I don't get this pick from you. He's like your guy.
He is my guy, but he's boomer bust. And where you're taking him, he's boomer bust. Like you're taking him in that top tier. Like that is a bust. You don't want to miss on your high end quarterback pick. Like that's the position you expect to get the most points from in a season. You don't want to miss on your quarterback position if you're taking somebody high up like Anthony Richardson. So that's it. That's all I got to say about him. Now
I like it. I like the take. I really do. I mean,
he's boomer bust.
I thought
he could be the number one, or
he could just be like just an absolute bust. Not
outside top 20. I think he'll be injured if he's a bust. He's injured. I don't think he's middle of the road.
And I was going to say, I don't know if we can look at Anthony Richardson, and all jokes aside, I don't think that we can look at A-Rich and be like, skill set wise could be a bust. I think it's entirely just health based. Like
I think so too.
If he's healthy, dude, for a full season, he's going to put up some freaking stats.
He's going to run the ball in so many times and stuff.
I mean, we saw it last year, and now listen. I mean, we're here to entertain. Okay, when I take off the entertainment hat and I really look at everything, the dude played like 2.5 games. He had 100+ rushing yards, and he played like one full game.
Yeah.
He had like 2 other halves.
And like 4 touchdowns in.
Touchdowns.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. He already has, and I believe you and I looked at this, and I was trying to bring it up here on the side while I was chatting. But last show, I think we looked at A-Rich, and we were looking at like his rushing touchdowns.
Yeah.
And it was the same prop bet as Josh Allen's. So like anybody who does not really understand the fancy aspect or the fancy nature of this discussion, but you do bet on sports and you understand stuff like that. Well, yeah, having a regular season rushing touchdown prop at 7.5, which is the same as what Jalen Hurts had. That was who we had. It was Jalen Hurts, who was also at 7.5. Josh Allen at 9.5 this season. Lamar Jackson at 4.5. Here's Jalen. Ooh, Jalen's gone up. He's at 9.5 now. But he's like in that echelon of running quarterbacks where we're looking at 7, 8, 9 rushing touchdown potential. And that's where their line is set. So I think Anthony Richardson, we saw him in essentially 2 full games of snaps, rushing touchdowns. The over 7.5 at plus odds for Anthony Richardson, I think is a phenomenal. And again, we talked about this being we talked about this being a bit of a fantasy show, an underdog show. But at the same token, listen, our heart just sits in the betting space. We're going to talk betting. That is a great futures bet, in my opinion. The fact that you're getting a plus 105 on DK, listen, might be better odds out there somewhere. I don't know. And I'm telling you, getting plus odds for a monster like A-Rich makes no sense to me.
He's going to get that by week 10 of the NFL season. By the end of week 10, he will have 8 rushing touchdowns.
I mean, how unbelievable would that be, dude? I mean,
I'm putting it out there.
I think, honestly, the Jalen Hurts, like 14 rushing touchdowns last season was a 14. No, it was Josh Allen, 14. That's well within reach. This line needed to be up where Josh Allen was. I'll probably end up personally making this like an official play for my club there because that just oozes value to me.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Do you get your money back if he gets hurt? Like, is there a certain threshold of games he has to play? Okay, so that would be the only reason that I can conceivably see that he doesn't reach that line.
And maybe that is the lower line just because they're worried about
I
injury.
don't.
But
I
did he
really
have
don't
the
think
injury
he's
concern
injured.
coming out of college? I don't know.
No, he didn't.
So that was like a freak thing.
It was a freak thing. They literally said it was like a freak thing. Him falling on his shoulder like that. I mean, it was like a
Yeah.
football tackle. It was a normal
Okay.
thing.
Well, then, yeah, I don't know.
No,
I'm
I don't think
slamming
it's a
that.
big deal.
So yeah, he's on the bust list, but everybody understands if he's healthy this year.
He's on the
I
boomer
mean,
bust
he could be
list.
breaking some records this season in a lot of different categories. I'm going
right.
to get away from the
Who's your
quarterback
guy?
position for the next bust pick.
Boomer
Yes,
bust. Oh, you
yeah,
think
we're
he's going
gonna
to be a
talk-
bust? Or are you going to say?
No, specifically, I think this guy could be a massive bust this season. So
Oh, okay,
yes, we're going to have some booms on our list. I promise you that. You know, we're going to go through
Richardson's a
this
boom,
list.
by the way. Just making sure that it's clear. He's a boom.
Oh,
I
you
was
had him a
doing.
boom?
Well, of course, I'm saying he's a. So for what I did a boomer bust.
Well, let's hear it.
Like, you know what I mean? I did a boomer bust. Like, he's either going to be a top 3 quarterback in the NFL, in my opinion, like fantasy wise, or he gets hurt and he busts your whole team. That's what I mean. Like, I think he's going to be a boom. He's my quarterback 1. But I'm just saying, like, I think the potential is there that he's either at the very, very top or he's way down at the bottom because he got hurt. So that's what I did for my pick. You could totally just pick a guy that you think is high up there that you think is going to bust. But I just want to make sure that I'm on record as saying Anthony Richardson's like my top, probably going to finish, in my opinion, as the quarterback 1 this year in fantasy.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. So you're going to be talking about players, and you could always just, identify
Yeah,
that.
I'll throw it out. I'll start it. I'll preface it. Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. Isaiah Pacheco, man. Here's where I'm going with my first pick. Boom. There's no bust factor.
Oh, okay, good.
You're a boom. I think Pacheco goes absolutely bonkers this season. I don't trust any of the backups. You and I were talking about this before the show with CEH and whatever Steele his name was. That backfield is not trustworthy behind Pacheco. He proved last year too that he is a phenomenal pass blocker when he was given the opportunity towards the end of the season and in the playoffs. And everybody loves the way he runs. He's been an internet sensation for the last 2 years, just running like he's angry at the ground. Just so fun to watch. And I think we're going to get a tremendous amount of opportunity this season from Isaiah Pacheco. And we saw last season in 250 touches, putting up, close to 1,200 total yards and 8 touchdowns. I think the touchdowns goes up this season. I really do. I think you and I had talked about this. We talked about it privately on our drive down to Canton, Ohio last weekend at the Hall of Fame. We were talking in the car about how we think that we're going to see Travis Kelce be what we saw Gronk be at the end of his career, where he's just kind of getting by, steps up when, the team needs it, end of the game, fourth quarter, things like that. And then in the playoffs, he just turns back the clock. And he reminds everybody that he's one of the greatest, skill set players in the NFL history at the position. And he looks like he's 25 again. And we saw Kelce do that last year in the playoffs after a season where, by the time he made it to the end of the year, he still had great stats. But from week to week, you're like, man, he's just a shell of himself. I think that Pacheco really picks up the slack this season in the red zone. And I truly think Pacheco could end up being like RB3, RB2, somewhere in there. I don't know if he can climb over some of these workhorses here as an RB1. But if the touchdowns can get to like 12, 13, I think he absolutely wins you a league and an absolute boom factor for me for Isaiah Pacheco.
Yeah, so I was looking at his red zone stats. So I actually looked inside the 10 because I think that's more applicable for running backs than a red zone is. So inside the 10, he had 20 carries for 56 yards last year and 5 touchdowns. And I think that you bring up a point, like this team is projected to be one of the highest scoring offenses in the NFL. If that comes to fruition, like we think it does, and they move the ball better, they don't necessarily have the guys they brought in aren't really red zone threats. They have Kelce in the red zone, but Marquise Brown is a smaller guy. Xavier Worthy is a smaller guy. Rashee Rice could be a red zone threat, like on screen passes or something across the middle, but they didn't bring in like a red zone guy. So I anticipate them giving the ball to Pacheco more often. And yeah, like you said, like if he bumps that, let's say inside the 10-yard line, touchdown up from like 5 to like an 8 or a 9, and then he ends up at like 12 on the season, I would say he probably finishes somewhere along the Jonathan Taylor, Saquon Barkley tier, in my opinion. That's probably where he could end up. I don't know if he could climb to be top 4 or 5 running back, but I think he could be right outside of there. And at where he's going right now in the draft, that would be a significant, 4 or 5 spots when we're talking about the very top tier here is a significant climb for that guy. And, if some of these guys fall off or if they run into issues because their quarterbacks are running the ball in, Pacheco really doesn't have that issue too much too. So yeah, he could easily climb up and finish well above where he's being drafted at ADP right now.
Let's hear your next one, Bam. Give it to me. Boom, bust. What do we got?
All right. This is not an intentional
add you to the
shot.
stage. I'm going to add you to the stage so your screen is showing.
Okay. This is not an intentional shot. Okay. But Dalton Kincaid could be a boom or bust candidate for sure. Because he's being drafted right now, top 5 tight end in the NFL. All right. Top 5. We like him as our top 1 or 2 tight end in the NFL based on our projections. However, the potential is there for him to climb and ascend the mountain and become the number 1 tight end this year. Or he could finish the season just like he did last year as tight end 12. And that's not great for where you're drafting him and where you have to draft him. If he finishes the season outside of the top 10 as tight ends, that's a bad year for where you have to draft Dalton Kincaid. So where you are drafting him at the 5 overall position is the assumption that he's going to keep climbing up and keep getting better in this offense. And now the fact that Diggs is out there, is gone from there, he's going to get a lot more targets. If that happens, great, no problem. I think he's a fine option. I think he could lead this team in targets. I do. However, the potential is there, and you have to know that when you're drafting him. If you're picking him as a top 5 tight end, he finished the season last year as tight end 12. So you need him to take a significant jump, especially in the touchdown department, for him to pay off that value. That's it. That's really it for me. So boom or bust. I mean, he could be a top 3 tight end fantasy-wise this year. Absolutely. And I have been drafting him, I think, as such. But the potential is there. I mean, he finished last year as the 12th best tight end in the NFL. So, and that was with guys like Pitts being behind him and Mark Andrews being behind him. Pitts because he just stinks and hasn't figured it out, and Mark Andrews being because he was injured. So Mark Andrews is going to climb back up there. So he's going to have to leapfrog some of these guys like Cole Kmet, like Taysom Hill, which he should be able to do, or Dalton Schultz, which all those guys we think he can leapfrog. But to get into that top 5, he's got to be better than Kelsey or be as good as Kelsey, Engram, Laporta. So that's it.
And I brought up Dalton Kincaid on my screen. I put it back on me so people could see some stats from last season. There's also a little blurb here talking about he's going to play over a quarter today, according to Elena Getzenberg of ESPN. So that should be interesting. Buffalo deployed the first team units for only a quarter during last week's preseason opener against the Bears. Blah, blah, blah. So interesting. Dawson Knox potentially managing injuries again to start the season. Yep. There's just so much upside for this man. And we talked this weeks ago, the touchdown rate for tight ends and where Dalton Kincaid was per catch, and was historically low. That the touchdowns are coming. If there's a regression for this big bodied tight end, I mean, he would have vaulted right inside the top 3 last season immediately.
If Knox is hurt, I actually like some of their other pieces even a little bit better. I don't think Kincaid gets as big of a bump. I definitely think, we like Kincaid. I think that he doesn't get the biggest bump from that. I actually think maybe somebody like Curtis Samuel gets the biggest bump, because in preseason week 1, I think we saw the Bills roll out, if I'm not mistaken, Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman at the 2 receiver spots. And Curtis Samuel was the odd guy out. So in 3 wide receiver sets, if they're going to have to run more 3 wide receiver sets with Dawson Knox out, then I think that's a bump for a guy like Curtis Samuel. So if you're drafting and you guys think that Knox is going to potentially be struggling with injuries, bump Curtis Samuel, in my opinion, out of anybody on this thing, because I think they go to more 3 wide receiver sets.
All right, let's move on. I got another player here. This one is a bust. Yes, this means essentially, I believe, and I'm going to bring the player right up on the side here so you guys can see some stuff while I'm talking. Not saying that fade him, just outright fade this player.
On this screen.
But I think, give me a second. It's worth the wait. I think that there is so much more potential for this to end up being a total waste of a pick. Okay?
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Collins.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
No way. That is not where I thought you were going.
I know. Let me paint the picture. Are you ready for this? My man last season put up quite the season. Yes, but he had almost an 80% catch rate. That is insanely high. You could go look at the top wide receivers in the NFL annually, and you're going to get around 70% catch rate. So when you've got a guy that was like 78.5% catch rate, I feel like there's just regression to be had. On top of that, he is being drafted as ADP 17.4. That means he's in the middle of the second round for a guy that only had 109 targets. On top of that, 2 key pieces were brought into Houston that I think potentially shave his target upside, which then shaves all his upside for all the stats. Stephon Diggs coming in, while he isn't the same Stephon Diggs, he is going to garner some more looks than the third wide receiver. Tank Dell being healthy this season, missed a lot of last season, which allowed Nico Collins to go out there and get those 109 targets. I'm not saying his skill set isn't good enough, but I'm just saying I guess the ascension of Tank Dell and the health of Tank Dell being there will take away from him a bit. Stephon Diggs arriving will take away from him a little bit. And last season, they didn't have a running game. And this season, they brought in Joe Mixon. So now they've got a pretty solid running back. They've got an aging veteran, very solid wide receiver. They've got a rising Tank Dell, who looked great last year, and Nico Collins, who did all that in just 109 targets, potentially due for some regression in the catch percentage category. And that is why I believe there is a there's a higher probability for him to bust as the ADP, as the 17th overall pick. And if we're looking at wide receivers alone, Nico Collins, man, is the wide receiver 12. And there's just some other guys in this space that I would just rather have when we're talking about total overall wide receivers who you can get a little bit lower in the ADP.
Who do you like? Who's a couple of the guys I'm just curious that you would take, like right there, like stay with like
Waddle, Olave. I would take Mike Evans. I like Ayuk a lot more. Devonta Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going all the way down to ADP 27. With these guys, you can get. And here's the thing: it's not like you're getting these guys late third, fourth round. Like you have to take them over him at virtually similar draft picks.
Yeah.
But at the number 18, pick 17, pick 18. Like I'm just not going.
Are you avoiding Nico or no?
Yeah, I pretty much have. Like I was looking at
Wow,
my
okay,
percentages the other day too.
Yeah.
And I've drafted them. Here's the deal: in Underdog, on Best Ball, you don't like fade people outright. That's just not a thing. But you go out of your way to like cap your exposure on certain players. It's so I'm not like totally out on everybody because I do believe there's still a path for Nico to go nuclear too. Like maybe the offense with the arrival of these guys, and here's the flip side of it, they're just more efficient. Maybe a CJ Stroud takes a huge leap in year 2, and Joe Mixon providing a running game means they're getting down the field more. So there's more sustained drives. Maybe Stephon Diggs and Tank Dell, take some attention away from some of the pressure that, that Nico was feeling by the defense. So it's like, I get all that. And I understand that is why he is being drafted 17. But at the same token, I think all of those negative factors lead to him having a higher probability of busting rather than booming.
There's a couple of guys around him that I could definitely be convinced to take. But I'm definitely getting some Nico shares too. And there are a couple of guys, and just looking at your screen even, that I would consider fade. And I'll just touch on real quick. Honestly, like I have very little of Drake London. And like, I mean, we're talking like sub 2% probably. So basically fading him, and Olave. So those are 2 guys on that screen when you're looking at it right now. I'm pretty much fine with everybody on that screen to some extent, to different varying degrees, including Nico. I like Nico as well. But like, if you're going to look at that screen and say who's a bust potential on there, for me, 2 guys on that screen, Olave and London, haven't really shown that they can do it. You could make the argument that Drake's definitely going to get better quarterback play. I don't disagree with that, but like they haven't done it yet.
You want me to put them on the screen?
Yeah, I was going to pair them together actually too. So those are 2
London
guys because
and Olave, right?
They're right there in that same ADP, that same group that I'm just not that interested in. I just don't find myself clicking them. Give me any of these guys around him over them. Give me even a potential old Cooper Kupp around them. Like, honestly, like I'll take Waddle over them. Harrison is risky, but everything I've seen, man, it's like, it's hard because the rookie wide receivers, we might have a little bet going on Harrison. I can't remember where we landed, but rookie wide receivers traditionally they've struggled in the past. Like it's very, very rare when a rookie wide receiver comes in and sets the league on fire. And we have the potential for 2 guys, in my opinion, to maybe do that this year in Neighbors and Harrison, and really like far exceed where, rookies traditionally come in. And even with that risk of them being rookies, like I'll take either one of them over London and Olave. And it's like, I just don't see it. I think Olave gives up on a lot of plays. His quarterback play is okay. Nothing's changed for Olave from last year to this year. So plug and play what he had last year.
They're going to be missing some pass catchers out there, and
but Michael Thomas, and Rashid Shaheed got hurt, I think, right?
Yeah, he got hurt yesterday.
But how long is he hurt? I mean, I didn't even see how long he's out for. But
you're the injury news guy.
Doing it. Yeah, that's not doing it for me. Honestly, nothing's changed for Olave. Olave's situation hasn't changed for me. It's the same quarterback, same situation he was in last year. Why is he going to do that much better? He would have to take a good leap on his own. It's going to have to be some sort of a leap on his own. So he's in the same scenario he was in last year where he finishes wide receiver 19th, now being drafted as wide receiver 14 for no apparent reason that I could tell, other than the only reason I can think is that the market's just driving these guys up because everybody feels like they have to draft wide receivers because everybody's going wide receiver. And then, okay, London, I like him better out of the two because his situation actually has changed, but he's wide receiver 10 right now.
Yeah, he's up there. That's a little shocking.
Where was Drake London last year? I'm going to find out right now. Holy smokes. Wide receiver 39 at the end of the year last year.
Man.
39.
No, but listen, you can't ignore the fact he had turd goblins throwing him the football, and now he has Kirk Cousins, who
he had 2 touchdowns.
Has shown that he can. Yeah, I know, but again,
what does he get? 7? Well? If he gets 7, that puts him up at wide receiver 20. You got to draft him at wide receiver.
You think that's the only thing that increases? You think he only has 109 targets?
Listen, there's a reason I'm sub 2% on these guys. Like I said, I like London slightly better.
That's fine.
But man, if we're talking about a bust and where you're drafting him, I'll take Debo over him, barring any injury news. I'll take Nico. I'll take Jalen Waddle. I'll take Kupp. I'll take, Puka's right before him. My goodness. And Marvin Harrison Jr., who's looked awesome in camp and in all the joint practices and preseason. Give me any of those guys. So yeah,
but here's the deal. Here's the deal. I agree with you. I think Drake needs to be down here somewhere. That being said, does that make him a bust? Or we're talking bust picks?
Yeah.
Are you saying he's he could just absolutely implode your team if you draft him? He's that bad?
If he is okay, so drafting him at wide receiver 10, if he finishes similar to wide receiver 39 where he was last year, yeah, that's a huge bust. 29 points lower in ADP. That's the biggest bust we've talked about here so far. 29 points. If that's where it really is. I mean, I talked about who was my first guy. We talked about Pacheco. We talked about Richardson. Okay, if he goes from quarterback 5 to quarterback 12 or quarterback 10 even, okay, that's 5 spots at a quarterback position. I don't see that happening, but that's a smaller margin. 30 spots almost. Dropping 30 spots and ranking 29 is a huge deal. So yeah, I think that could implode your team because you're taking these guys assuming they're going to be big scorers for your team.
Right.
And if he just scores in that middle, yeah, you're hurting. You're definitely not doing great.
Going right back to the well is what I'm talking about all off season. Dak freaking Prescott. Well, I just don't get it. I have to belabor this point because nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. We are looking at Dak all the way down here as QB 10. This is absolutely a boom pick. The only reason why he didn't go nuclear in 2022 was injury. Okay. He missed half the season, my friends. But the dude on a per game basis was no different than any other season. Last season goes out there, throws 36 tutties, 351.8 fantasy points, finished, I believe, as the QB 3. So every healthy season, he's been a top 5 QB. And now we're getting him at QB 10. I think there's a few reasons why he's a great pick this season. And I don't understand the QB 10 other than what we've talked about in the past, where people don't know exactly how to stack these players together. Brandon Cooks is a fine number 2 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb is legitimately potentially the best all-around wide receiver in the NFL. Justin Jefferson's super upset about what I just said, and I totally understand that, but I can't remember who he's got thrown to him now with McCarthy out.
Sam Darnold.
It's what kind of upside do we have there? If we're talking fancy alone, the CeeDee Lamb upside is just so much higher with Dak throwing to him. Brandon Cooks there, the ascension of the tight end there last season. I can't remember off the top of my head his name. Jake Ferguson, he played well. Yeah. Okay. Mitch, who do they have behind him at wide receiver 3 behind Brandon Cooks? Not many, but you know what? They didn't last year either. Michael Gallup literally retired He
Jalen Tolbert.
He's been a non-factor for years. The third wide receiver has not mattered out there in Dallas for like 4 seasons. So nothing has changed. And now I believe they have another tight end behind Jake Ferguson. I can't remember his name either, who's a pretty good tight end who they drafted in like the 3rd round a couple seasons ago. He got hurt, but he's healthy again. So they've got Ferguson and this other player, both, I think, was Ferguson 2nd round pick too? I believe he was. They've got 2 tight ends that are like 2nd and 3rd round pedigree. I think they'll run maybe some more 2 tight end sets this year, maybe get them both on the field. I'm not sure. And then the running game. I don't think they have much of one. I think this is purely a volume thing. Dak Prescott threw 590 attempts last season. What's going to change? If he is healthy, he's going to throw the ball 600 plus times this season. And we have seen year after year after year, these guys that go out there, if they have like an elite guy like CD and they're throwing the ball 600, 650 times, they almost just walk their way into a top 5 season simply based on volume and that one player who can ascend them like CD Lamb. I am all in on Dak Prescott. I think he is getting so much disrespect this season for a guy who has put up insane fantasy seasons year after year. Yes, take away the playoff comment here that I see Dave mentioned. Yeah, again, I'm not even talking about skill set. I think Dak skill-wise, he's a good quarterback. He's a top-tier quarterback. Is he going to win you a Super Bowl? I don't know. But can he put up fancy stats? Abso-freaking-lutely. Does he have CD Lamb to throw to? Does he have Brandon Cooks and Jake Ferguson? And he gets to just funnel all that fantasy juice to those 3 guys? Absolutely. And if you can stack all 3 with Dak Prescott, being able to get him so late in the draft at ADP of 97, I think you are set up for a massive, massive underdog stack. You have so much upside. I think he's absolutely a boom pick. There's no bust potential outside of injury, just like most of the players we're talking about here.
Sure.
We're not thinking injury outside of like some of those key guys like A-Rich, where we've seen him lose a season. Dak Prescott had that freak injury. I think it was broken ankle or something, right? That had knocked him out of the second half of 2022. There's just nothing I don't like about Dak Prescott or his situation this season. I expect him to absolutely go nuclear. Top 3 fantasy quarterback. Easy.
Love it. Yeah, I think it's probably just like what you said. They only have one, they got CD, you got Ferguson. Brandon Cooks is kind of banged up here at his knees, will be 31 years old this year. I think that's probably the only concern really, is he's not a sexy pick to stack him with unless you get CD Lamb or maybe Ferguson. I definitely think we see a little bit of regression from Cooks, and then Jalen Tolbert, I don't know how good he is, but he's going to be the guy that would have to step up for him. But we know you love some Dak Prescott this year, so I'm not going to fight you on it.
Love him.
All right. Let's see here.
The guy right above him, I think is probably one maybe we can take a second to talk about. What do you think about Jordan Love this season? I know this is very much off the cuff.
He looked really great, especially second half of last season. He really came on. He has arguably one of the best receiving cores in football, at least like from a complete standpoint. Like they have 4 very good receivers. He's in a great system. He's got great head coaching, great play calling with Matt LaFleur. So I think he's really set up.
Bleed my own blood, LaFleur.
Yeah, LaFleur. I think he's really set up, man. I think he's set up for success. Yeah, okay. He's got the rushing upside. Like, I think it's going to be a dogfight for these guys between quarterback 5 and 10 of who that's going to end up being, who's going to finish in that area. Because right now, as it's being drafted, you got Stroud, Murray's shown us he could be a top 5 quarterback. Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, and Dak right there. So and then you got Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams right outside of that range. So, I mean, it's going to be, there's some great quarterbacks, great young quarterbacks in the NFL. It's good for us as fans. I just think Jordan Love has a great team around him and a great system. And I think that matters. And that's one of the reasons I like A-Rich so much, is that Steichen is a great head coach and play caller. Great. Not good. Not good. Great. And I think that really helps your quarterback. And that's where Jordan Love finds himself in too.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to look at Jordan Love and just think pure boom. I mean, they believe in him. They give him freaking so much money. I can't remember his contract, but I believe they made him the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, didn't they?
I don't know at a per season basis if he is, but okay. I do know that Patrick Mahomes is like 3rd now or something stupid, which is crazy. Good for him. Good for the Chiefs. Good for them.
So we've got massive upside from Jordan Love.
Yeah.
We've got 4 different pass catchers essentially that you can target at will. And they're not hard to draft, like based on where you're drafting them and their ADPs. Like it's stacking them together is phenomenal. By the way, last 3 seasons, Dak Prescott full played, finished. I was looking up on the side where you're chatting. Finished 2nd, 7th, and 3rd through 596, and 590 pass attempts. Had 30, 36, and oh gosh, I can't remember. And 32 passing touchdown. Oh no, it was Jordan Love. And 36 passing touchdowns. So absolutely bonkers stats wise, all 3 seasons that he had finished fully healthy. And now believe that he potentially has, and they still have a tremendous O-line, but I believe he potentially has the best ball stack upside we've had from Dak in years past. So being way down there and having a few select players that you know where the ball is going. I love those, the funneled fantasy focus. Also, let's get to some betting picks here real quick before we get back. Sure. Because listen, man, most of our people that tune into these shows are from our betting communities. And thank you very much to everybody watching right now. I see a little close to 350 total views across all our platforms today so far. If you could just do us a huge favor before we give away a couple betting picks and then get back to some more fantasy, is like it. No matter where you are. If you're on Twitter, you like it, you retweet it. If you're on YouTube, on either of our channels, either of our Twitters, you subscribe, you hit the like button and support free content, and we keep showing up for you. So smash the like button for me right now. That's the big YouTube phrase. Smash that like button, hit that notification bell. Yeah. And slam the subscribe button. I don't know what the trio is. That's not it.
Slam it. Listen,
slam the subscribe.
Hit the subs are free, right? I mean, like, you don't have a limited amount. Throw them our way. Okay. Just throw them our way.
Fair point.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Well,
you got a betting pick?
Yeah. So
what do you got?
Off of that, why are we not targeting some of these guys and their passing touchdowns or passing yards? Again, if we are talking about health factor and all we care about is, listen, we think if they can finish this season, they're going to go absolutely bonkers. Mm-hmm. Jordan Love threw 32 touchdowns last season. His over-under is at 27.5. Fair odds, both sides, minus 110. He's at 27.5. Are we regressing by 5 passing touchdowns this season? What has changed? All those young wide receivers taking a step forward. Jordan Love being protected by a very good O-line, ascending as a passer. The trust has been put in him, backed up by money, which is second to none. And you got him at 27.5 on Sportsbooks. I don't understand that one, and I wanted to bring that one up.
Yeah, let me just see real quick. I'm just curious to see what we have him projected for. We have him projected for 30 passing touchdowns. So, yeah, I mean, I think that's a fine bet. I don't see a world where he goes under by that, and he really does have great pass catchers. These guys, I mean, that's the only bad thing for them in fantasy is that they have each other, that they have all these guys around him that are all really, really capable wide receivers. He has been throwing darts all like off season, all camp, and he just looks so good that I think that's a fine option at a minus 110 there.
Yeah, like 27.5 just seems low.
Man, Dak's at 30.5. I'm telling you, I don't know, man. I think that's tighter to me of a line than the Jordan Love one is.
I gotcha. Okay.
Well, so just then the Jordan Love one, just like the gap we have, like the differential.
Understood.
Because CD, how many can CD catch? 15. Ferguson catches another 6.
Didn't CD have like 18?
I don't think so. Not 18. 18 is ridiculous. Did he have 18?
It is ridiculous. I thought he had that many.
He had 12.
Okay.
So call it 85. Okay, so he had 12. Let's say even CD gets to like 14.
Yeah.
Like, where are those other 16 coming from? Ferguson gets 6. And then it's like, I know Cooks had like 8 last year. I expect a little bit of regression from Cooks. He's not a red zone guy. He's never been a red zone guy. Cooks, like, he played great in the red zone last year. What did he have? He had 8 last year. Yeah.
Like,
where do they come from?
6 to Cooks, 6 to Jake, and you could say what, 14? Let's say
CD 14. Yeah.
And hit 181 targets. I mean, geesh. He's got the upside for that. I mean, we used to see Devontae Adams used to get 180-ish targets a season with Aaron Rodgers, and he was racking up 15, 18 touchdowns. So, like, let's say he does get 14. I mean, what are we up to? 26? You know,
Ferguson
it's like
had 5 last year, 6 and 6. Let's say they each get 6, so that's 12. And what did we say? 14, so 26. Yeah. So we're counting for 26.
He needs 7 more across running backs, tight ends, 3rd, 4th, 5th wide receivers.
Yeah, I know. I just don't know. Listen,
That's fair. Well, no, he doesn't need 7 more. He needs 5 more.
I wasn't going to tell you because it hurt my point. So,
oh wow. I can't believe you'd admit that live. I mean, just call yourself a scumbag.
Well, you gotta just check yourself before you wreck yourself, right?
Check down Jabs.
Check down Jabs. I think I really did pull my neck muscle when I did that thing. All jacked up over here. I'm about to put a heating pad on live on stream. I mean, he could get there. He could get there for sure. What is it? Is it plus odds? Well, at least you're getting plus odds at it.
Yeah, that's the other part.
It's going to be tight. Here's the thing. This is what I said. I said that I liked the Jordan Love differential one better. So, to be fair, I just like the Jordan Love. I think Jordan Love easily gets to 28 a lot easier than Dak gets to 31. But do they both hit? Yeah, that's totally within a realm of possibility.
Let's take a peek here in Underdog Fantasy. Tyreek Hill was one you and I have talked about on our own end on the drive at the gas station. We were sitting there charging the car talking about Tyreek Hill. 9.5 receiving touchdowns. Does it just seem like free to you? Or are we concerned about hammies and quarterback play? I mean, what's up?
I'm concerned about hammy a little bit. I'm concerned. I'm just slightly concerned. I mean, and it's hard to say that because, man, he did, looking at his season from last year, he had 13 freaking touchdowns. Like, that's insane. Tied Mike Evans for the most in the league. Like, that's insanity. So maybe we shouldn't be, but, with a capable number 2 out there to steal some touchdowns, a better, Mike Gesicki out there, a decent, red zone tight end, Devin Achane scoring a lot of touchdowns, Raheem Mostert going through regression, but still scoring touchdowns, Jalen Wright scoring touchdowns. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I hate to say it because I never want to talk about or predict injuries, but this could be the year that he'll battle some injuries. And I think he still has a great season. When he's there, he's going to put up a ton of points. But a guy like him with that kind of insane speed is going to pop a hammy occasionally, right? We do it walking upstairs. Like,
speak for yourself, bro. I'm
all right. Walking downstairs machine. For you.
Let's look at some of these over here.
What do you got?
Let me see. Let me zoom out a little bit because I actually can't see what I'm looking at.
I think I like the CD one a little bit better. CD Lamb over.
Well, I wanted to show. I mean, here's something you can do on these with these plays. Like,
look at Jordan Love.
I know. So if you're taking like Love at plus 110 or whatever it was on DK over 27.5, I mean, you're essentially have an opportunity to middle it through these parlays here, going Love under 29.5. I mean, you're getting some plus EV goodies right here, right? Like when we've got a 2 touchdown differential from books versus what you got on UD, this is often how you can just make slips. You could go through and put together, a pick 5, a flex 5 right here with 5 picks and just be grabbing the largest differentials versus the books. That's it. Like, you can go through, and the pick-em apps don't want you to know this one trick. They don't want you to know. They don't want you to know about putting together them value slips where you're simply playing their lines versus the books, and you're not including any research. It has nothing to do with anything data-wise. It's purely just, hey, they've mispriced this. Take advantage. It's like going to the grocery store and seeing, a gallon of milk for $2.40, and this other grocery store across the street has the same exact gallon, same brand for $3.30. You go get it at the cheaper place. And that's exactly how you can play on these pick-em apps for these season-long slips. I posted a few of these like a month ago, and it looks like as I'm scrolling through here, there are some mispriced lines that I'm going to have to go back and make some new slips. And that's essentially the only way that not the only way that you can. It's definitely a way that you should go through and look and finding value. Otherwise, if you go through here and you're not paying attention to that, I think then you're leaning on your analysis, which there's nothing wrong with that. Sure. I mean, we could look at the CD Lamb situation and say, hey, this man just had 181 targets. There's really no one else out there. Dak Prescott has a chance to throw almost 600 passing attempts. They have no running game. There's no other touchdown equity type players. How is CD Lamb at 9.5 receiving touchdowns? And then we don't even look at the sports books, and we're just like, This doesn't make sense. Analysis-based picks, okay? It's up to you how you want to approach this on Underdog Fantasy. But clearly, there are ways to make some money on these apps. And Underdog Fantasy is a great platform for people that don't have access to sports books. It's a great platform if you like simply just doing fancy drafts. And it's a great platform if you're looking to do some pick 'em slips that you want to put together, and you can put together better value than you can get on the sports books. And I love that you can get that on UD today. So I do like that CD over 9.5. I think that's a fine option. I'm trying to quickly scroll through here, but the books don't even have it organized in a way where it's like alphabetical. 9.5 touchdowns plus 115 on DK. I mean, shoot, if you want value, I think that's a really good value pick in its own right.
I can't believe we're getting a 2 touchdown difference on Jordan Love, though. Play it on DK. Holy smokes.
I know.
I know you can middle it. I think that's probably a decent option and stuff. And like everything you said is awesome for people to pay attention to. For me, like play the over on DK at 27.5. Holy smokes.
I'm on St. Brown over 8.5 pass receiving touchdowns plus 120. I mean, we've seen him 3 straight seasons. What was it 8, 10, 12? In his third year in the league, he went up to 12 last year, right?
He had 10 last year.
It's hard. 10? Okay, so was it 8 to 10? Year 2 to year 3? There was some type of progression like that, I remember.
He had 6 in 2022.
Okay, so he went way up. He went 4 more.
Yeah.
Okay, and the yards and receptions went up by a fair amount as well.
Yeah.
He's just progressing. He's in year 4 now.
Yeah,
he is the real deal. 8.5 seems potentially low there, but who knows? The running game out there could vulture a lot of touchdowns. Maybe that's why we're getting plus 120. I think there's some value on these receiving touchdown markets. I'm really going to have to spend some time looking at this later.
Yeah, absolutely. No, the one that's standing out to me is the Jordan Love one. So Drake London
minus 125 to the under.
Look at how low that is. 6.5.
I know.
That's pretty low.
It is.
I don't know if it's. They've said it's so low that it's hard for me to bet it. But look,
I want to compare the wide receivers in that same range, like Devonta, 6.5. Okay.
Well, Devonta's a number 2 receiver on
I'm only talking Underdog Fantasy, the wide receivers right around where he was. I mean, there's another one right there. Devonta Adams, 6.5 to the under. Same exact thing. Cooper Kupp was above him, 6.5 minus 115 to the under. I mean, these guys, they're not Puka Nacua, 6.5 minus 155 to the under. I mean, these guys were all guys right around where he was.
Yeah, Puka and him are not the same. That's crazy.
So, Puka that should scream value to you. Plus 120 to the over for Puka if you like it.
I think I do. Yeah, he had 6 last year in a rookie season. Like, I think that he easily takes the next step. Now, I know, Cooper Kupp's going to be back for a whole healthy season, and he's great around the red zone. But, Puka could easily get 7. Yeah, I like the Puka and the Jordan Love one.
Well, Marvin Harrison.
Parlay them together. Marvin Harrison's at 6.5.
Plus 125 over, minus 150 under. Oh, by the way, Nico Collins, 5.5. Lower than every other player we've talked about. Bust.
Nico had an 8 last year?
Bust.
Yeah, right. We got to have some bets on this. We got to put a little skin in this game. All right, hold on. I like that, though.
I bet enough. I don't need to do these types of bets.
Yeah, me too. Yeah,
you put the money. If you like it that much, put a bet up.
I will. I'm telling you right now what to place. Place it in your account. I'll Venmo you the money. We get to put the winnings. That's probably illegal.
Put it on your own account, pal.
Well, you have it open. All right. Make a little slip and then screenshot this sucker.
Open up your own DK Sportsbook. What do you mean? You got multiple monitors in front of you. I'm not your lackey.
You're the show
host.
What
is this?
What kind of a show host
Open it up. Open it up. Open it up.
What kind of a host are you right now?
There you go. You got skin in the game now.
Is this what it's like?
Why am I
betting your house? I got to get my own drinks.
Gosh.
I come over your house. I got to get my own water. Is that what this is next?
Unbelievable.
Next, you're going to tell me I can have no water.
It's not yours.
Fine. I'll make my own little flip here. I got to find it.
Telling me to bet on your picks.
You're the future
you
guy.
Bet on
you got to help me out here.
I just want you like them that much.
Just screenshot it for me next time. All right. Be a doll. Be a doll. All right. Now I got to find it and screenshot these futures.
Chris Olave has the same touchdown prop as Nico Collins. I'm telling you, dude.
Books aren't always right.
No, they're not. But that means also on the flip side of things, if you totally disagree with some of these takes today, not just you specifically, but if people out there are like, man, I'm not a big fan of that one, there's some money to be made.
There is. I just
Yep.
hate having my money tied up like everybody probably does.
I'm with you.
Do.
Listen, and that's the other part of futures bets is that you can have the strongest take on earth, but legitimately just not want your money stuck there for 7-8 months.
Right.
And that's acceptable. You can
Sure.
have a friendly wager on people like this, but not actually put money in, because who wants their money gone for that long? Not
Where are you
everybody.
even finding this? I'll have to do this later. I'll have to enter it later. I know, but I like it. I want to track it.
Player stats
Okay.
is the tab.
I'll have to look later.
And then you got all these for the season.
I like it. There's a couple in there that I would parlay together, actually. I'd parlay the Jordan Love one.
Probably parlays together. Can you even future parlays?
Can you?
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
That's what I'm asking you to build. All right. Can we?
Yeah, I just lost like 50 units.
Since you're right there, can you throw a couple of guys in one for me and just snip it? Because I'm having a heck of a time over here.
I can do this.
You're the best. All right. So we were looking at Nico's over touchdowns.
All right.
I like that. Give me the over. Yep. Give me the over for Nico.
Okay.
Yep. Over 5.5. There he is.
That is low-hanging fruit.
Marvin, I'm a little torn on, so let's just wait a minute here. Who do we got? What's Garrett Wilson? 7.5. Nice. A little Garrett Wilson love.
Yes or no? You want him in there?
Yeah, I do. Garrett Wilson. And then go to, I know I want Jordan Love's.
Are you watching my screen?
I am.
All right. How's that?
I want, that's good. I want Jordan Love's over 27.5 touchdowns for sure. I don't know if I don't think I need any more on this screen. So yeah, just Jordan Love over 27.5 touchdowns. Bam.
You feel that strongly about Garrett Wilson at 7.5, huh?
Yeah, I think that's a solid play. How many did he have last year? Dude, I think he had a decent
5.
season. I know he had 5. Was it 5?
No, I don't know. I'm just guessing. Okay. Watch, he had like 9 with.
But like 5 with no quarterback. Like
I know
that's an immediate boost.
Oh, I can't.
No, he only had 4. No, he had 3. He had 3. But to me, like that seems appropriate. He had terrible quarterback play.
There's got to be a better pick though than Garrett Wilson.
Well, I mean, I think you could make the argument for Marvin Harrison over 6.5.
Well, hold on. What about?
I like Marvin.
What about
Harrison.
like Tyreek receiving? Wasn't that one we talked about in previous weeks?
Probably, but I'm so nervous about Tyreek this year.
Okay.
So give me Marvin Harrison Jr. over 6.5 touchdowns, and snip it, and then you can do whatever you want with the rest of the slip. Please. I like that.
Included on this,
sure,
or removing Garrett or somebody else.
Throw it right in there.
All
Rip
right,
Coil. How do we get Rip Coil out of this chat?
Oh, let's bring his chat up.
Yeah. Good luck, Rip Coil. Rip Coil, my friends, is a person that must not like making money. Just Rip Coil, you're just throwing away all our Patreon profits, my friend. Right
Plus
there.
1,200.
Do me a favor.
You got me thinking though. If you are going to tie up your money for a long time, I am curious. I have actually never parlayed futures bets. I did 25 single bets last year. I went 20-5 in NFL.
You did some this year too, right?
Yeah, I probably have close to 20 or so already. I am curious if you have futures for props, if they will offer cash out options as the season goes on. Like you do a little 2-pick and like
they score like 2 touchdowns week 1.
Yeah, like Garrett Wilson, a 3 touchdown week 1. Marvin Harrison, 4 touchdowns by week 2. It's like, are they trying to pay you out at that point? But I don't know if they would offer cash out because there's so much injury.
Yeah, right. That could happen. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Listen,
that's really interesting.
I'm with Soldier. That Garrett Wilson one's seeming more and more better. I mean, as long as you get, again, injury aside, you need, and I don't even think it's his injury, it's Aaron Rodgers. As long as Aaron Rodgers is healthy. Thank you, my friend. That's great. Woohoo! That's a good one. That just made however much I put on for a plus 1,200 odds. Look at Taterize, same thing. Literally just said the same thing. Get Rip Coil off the screen.
No, dude. The button's not working.
Yeah, there's 0% chance that they go under 8.5 wins.
The Colts?
Chance. Oh yeah,
0% chance,
barring Anthony Richardson injury. Okay, obviously, if any
then
quarterback
it's
goes
not 0%, is it?
It is. It's 0% barring an injury to Anthony Richardson. They could withstand like almost anybody else getting injured. Anthony Richardson gets injured unless Shane Steichen gets injured. Then we'd be hurting too. Could have the coach get injured on the sidelines. I love that bet. That's a great one. Great. Marvin Harrison's a monster. His route running is what's impressed me the most in all the videos and camps I've seen.
Yeah, I know, route running. I saw another one yesterday, just left with a corner in the dust on like an in route. Like the most
Dude,
one of the
he's so
most
good.
standard
And that was
routes
against the
in
Colts.
the
Yeah.
NFL, and he just wrecked
That was
this guy's
actually
ankles.
that was against Kenny Moore, who's one of the best.
Oh, you saw
slot
it?
corners, too.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I've been watching all this stuff. That's against the Colts one. They're doing joint practices. Dude, he looks so good, and it's cool because they're doing joint practices. And Marvin Harrison Sr.'s there with Junior. It's been so cool. It's been so cool to see.
Listen,
I love it.
We could go on forever with our picks here, and maybe we can dabble.
We should wait
a few more another week. But
spoiler alert:
Garrett Wilson.
Garrett Wilson to score a touchdown week 1. That's gonna be on our show coming up. Garrett Wilson touchdown week 1.
I haven't even looked at upcoming week 1 props.
I don't know if I have either, but I love it. Brees Hall is probably gonna score a touchdown too. The team's gonna come out firing. They got a primetime game, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
What do you think of some of these wins props before we dip?
Oh, you can move them, huh?
Yes, but you're getting taxed.
Give me the Steelers under 10.5. How's what does that look like? Is that gonna be real heavy? Oh gosh, yeah, it's unfortunately
not even worth.
No.
Now here's what I'm curious: can you parlay these? Yeah, you can.
I love it. We should do one. We should do like a big one. We should go every team, do the whole thing for like.
Yeah, right.
Come on, why not?
A waste of money. No,
not if we're parlaying.
Like huh?
Well, not if we're parlay.
Oh, you just want to go team by team wins?
Yeah.
I mean, that could be next week's show, dude. That's amazing.
All right, we could use our slider. Monday Night Football in San Fran. Let's hope that what's his face can make it out of the tunnel. If Aaron Rodgers makes it out of the tunnel and onto the field, I think we're okay. Yeah, we could do that. I mean, we're coming up. We're really gonna have to start digging in because we're getting close to what do we got? 3 weeks till NFL starts? 3 more shows? Or is it 2 more shows? 3 shows, it's gotta be.
Is it?
Gotta be 3 shows until NFL starts.
No.
Oh no, because it starts
2 more shows.
It starts Thursday.
Yeah. Wow. That's crazy. Oh, we're so close. Thank goodness.
So one of those shows is definitely going to be the betting. The first, the one right before it, obviously. So we got to figure out what we want to do for next week, and then it's going to be betting. So,
I mean, I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm over everything that isn't NFL right now. You know, like even ML, dude. I smacked a 2-pick home run parlay yesterday. Did you see that?
And rebet.
Yeah, and rebet. Smacked the biggest one I've had of the season.
Really?
Excited for like 5 minutes. Like I'm just so over it. The daily MLB grind, you know, like golly, dude. Because you and I were doing NBA and then MLB, so it's literally just
2 grinds back to back
since October.
Yeah.
Since October, we have bet every single day. We've researched every single day. Save a few days here where we've taken off for mental breaks and things like that, which are super needed. I'm just done. Even when I'm winning, it's just like, hey, all right. Like this week, I won Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 straight days of picks. I went 19-5, David. 19-5 for Dub Club. And like I felt nothing. Just dead inside.
You're just pinching yourself to feel something?
Yeah.
Just to feel something.
Yeah. Just thinking about NFL, watching slow motion.
Take all that money that you won and pour it into NFL now.
For sure. Well, now that I know that we can do some parlays, oh my gosh. I mean, next week, listen, we'll talk about it on the back end. We're going to have a little UD angle, of course, but I think we should look heavily next week since a lot of our viewers can play on Underdog, and if they can't, they usually have sports books. It's one or the other. Mm-hmm. I think, honestly, David, let's spend the week on our own time through our phone calls, things like that, putting together some picks we want to talk about for next Saturday, and let's make some season-long like futures parlays and stuff.
Okay.
Like chat. What do we think?
Do people want that? Yeah.
That's it. Listen, before I even I'm like lock it in.
Yeah.
Is that something we're here for? Or are we wanting more like boom bust type things?
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing too. Here's another option potentially too, so they can kind of choose. But like people are going to be doing their fantasy football drafts over the next like 2 weeks.
I'm losing focus of the show.
Well, yeah, kind of. Yeah. So that's the question. Is like maybe we make that like a really small segment, and like we still focus on like cheat sheet type stuff. I don't know, looking at the guys that we think, you should be targeting, something like that. So guys, there is another option before you all answer. Think about like, cause if you guys are doing your drafts, I know I had a couple of people in Patreon over the last like 2 or 3 days DMing me for the updated rankings and stuff, which I put in there. Patreon.com/HulkBets. And
Drop the link. Drop the link in chat.
okay, sure. I could do that.
Link your YouTube too, man. Give people listen. Everyone who's watching right now,
I know, right? If I
get
didn't
to 1,000, he's like 30 away.
I'm like 30 away, and I get
For
off
subs.
these streams, and like you have like 400 viewers, and I look at there, and I gained like 1 sub, and I'm like, oh.
Just give him the direct link right here in chat.
Well, there's Patreon. I'll do the thing. Patreon. I put the updated rankings though, because everybody's doing their drafts right now. It's like prime drafting time the next 2 weeks.
You right.
Okay,
coffee.
the YouTube link.
I'm slouching.
YouTube. Slouching, you all right?
I'm tired. I'm old.
And just a minute ago, you just argued with me about your knees. There it is. The truth.
I'm an
comes out
enigma.
if
You
stay
can't
long
figure me
enough.
out, man. I'm gonna keep you on your toes.
All right, I'm spamming.
Spam the YouTube link, man.
I've gained 1 sub this whole time. Now I know every person watching on your channel does not sub to me, and vice versa. Got a couple subs to offer. Everybody, cross paths.
Cross streams.
Cross.
Pretend
paths.
this is the YouTube urinal.
My man. Yeah, we're off the rails. Now we're just hanging out. But we have talked about this.
That's fine,
like,
dude. We do
our
this all the
Sunday,
time.
yeah, our Saturday shows are like high intensity and stuff, and they will be because there's just so much going on and there's so much to talk about. But like, we also want to just hang with the people, right? Like, we just want to hang.
I mean, during
and,
the
like,
NFL season last year, we would routinely have like 2-hour shows.
streams. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I don't anticipate that going away because
No.
now we're even heavier into like best ball and like weekly contests too. So we'll probably have like a ton of picks and maybe talk about a couple of players we really like that then people can go and target those players in their weekly underdog contests and stuff. Woo-hoo!
Ooh, baby.
There's so much.
Hey, David, and maybe this we talk about off stream. If you have a way to set up Patreon codes, we could probably have one for Check Down Champs on the show, right?
Yeah, I don't. So,
And
I
you want
think
to
the
just you want to
answer-
just end the stream and chat about this?
oh, I don't care. I have nothing to hide.
Yeah,
I
I
got
didn't
nothing
think
to hide.
I didn't think you would care.
But no, they so from what Patreon says is that they're working on doing product and membership discounts. It looks like right now there's actually a free 7 days on there that I'm probably going to take away after today because it truly was for the expo. And I just forgot about it and left it up. Yeah, so if you're watching this, you literally get a chance to do it for free. And I'm looking at the screen right now. I could click the button to take it away at any time. Thou giveth, thou taketh away.
Oh my!
But it's open right now if somebody wants to click into it and try for free.
A thinly veiled threat. I'm looking at the button right now.
I got my finger on the button. It's a red button, like the big easy button. I'm just going to smack it and it's going to go away. But it's still on there. And I've been meaning to take it away. But I'm like, I'll let people try it out. So I had a couple people this week take advantage of it. And I'm like, well, that's fine. The only thing is what I ask is like, give me to the first week of NFL. MLB, it's not exciting. Like we talked about, it's not the most exciting thing, but NFL, woo-hoo! Now that'll get your blood boiling. What's the link? Mitch, do you want to just click that Patreon link?
No.
Least helpful host in the world.
There you go. There's a link. I had this one up on my screen.
You came through for me eventually. So
yeah, but I'm not doing the other thing, but I'll help.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, that's so funny. But yeah, so I don't think I can do it yet, but eventually. But there is that free 7 days. But I'm really gonna take it off after this in a minute. I'm gonna give it like 3 minutes and I'm gonna take it off.
Cool. And you've been doing YouTube again. Like you're going heavy. Stream,
trying
video.
to, not as heavy as you every day, but I will be. I mean, NFL.
Yeah, but you're back.
Man.
Yeah, you will be back. Yeah. You're working your way back into it.
NFL is going to be a intensive thing. I'm going to do the primetime stuff, and whenever you're free, you got to come on and join, and we'll do like primetime parlays. It's gonna be fun. Oh,
primetime shows for the
time,
true degenerates.
Primetime pregame lock parlays. That's a mouthful.
TM.
Say that fast. TM. Yeah, exactly. They're gonna grab it. It's a great name. Doesn't even fit on a business card.
Shirts.
Doesn't even fit on a business card. It's
Amazon.
like it goes on the shirt and it's got to like wrap around to the back. It's like the worst shirt ever. Who designed this? Oh, I love it, man. This is good. This is fun.
We're back.
We're back. Yeah,
we're back, man.
So close.
We're back. Rip Coil just need those touchdown props like last season. Those Saturday picks, they were so freaking fun to talk about those. We
at the end of
banged
the season,
home.
yeah,
Dude, we banged home some like insane plus 5,000, plus 8,000.
remember the
long
Kyron
parlays.
Williams 2+ touchdowns combined with like Achan or Gibbs 1+
Do you
or
remember?
something.
I was gonna say, do you remember we hit like a it was 2 players for 2+ touchdowns each. They're both like plus 1,500 or something, and the odds were like it was like we hit like a plus 7,000 parlay on the live show. You remember that? It was like one of our first weeks we did it, and that's what kind of set it off. Dude, the touchdown prop stuff. Oh my gosh, so fun to talk about. It's gonna be a great season.
That was really fun. We really we'll do like I like a lot of other props too, like outside of just the touchdown market. I remember I banged home that Jared Goff one in the playoffs. I was stoked because a friend of mine had texted me and said, "Oh yeah, I put a grand on it." I'm like, oh my gosh. Banged home the over 34.5 attempts. I literally remember the line. And
what a stressor when a friend texts you saying,
know, right?
even if they're tailing with $1.
I know,
you're
right?
Like, this is
talk about $1,000. Stupid. But like I like those kind of bets, and we're gonna definitely do those. But yeah, the touchdowns kind of took over as we went on through the season. Remember, we played a lot of like Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery ones. I couldn't say Devin Achan last year. There's a lot of stuff about last year I remember fondly. I literally couldn't say his name.
We're 2 weeks away. We're gonna have to do something for like that Thursday night football for sure. You know, like a pre-lock, a pre-lock show. Are we 2 Thursdays away or no 3 Thursdays? I can't figure out the math of it either.
It's got to be 2 Thursdays, right?
So we got 1 week, 2 week. So we have 2 more Saturday shows, and then bang, there we are. Wow.
Yep. So the 20, so there'll be September 5th. Yeah, I'm in. So I'm in for that. Right. I was planning on doing that all year.
Sweet.
Let's go crazy.
All right, fam.
All right. We're out of here.
We'll have the best weekend. Enjoy yourselves. Be good out there. And we will see you next Saturday. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. Subscribe wherever you are. And we are back every day. YouTube, Twitter, we're everywhere. Find us.
Everywhere. We'll TikTok even now. We're on TikTok.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to play this really cool video clip. It gives me a chance to like shut down the stream. David made this, and we like it. So I know it's to start a show, but we're going to end it with it. Think of this as your 15-second clock to
invite your wives back into the room. Oh.